tell me why is main declared as a static method? Why the main function is required to declare as a static? What is the reason? Anyone? Can you explain that why main has been declared as static?
Sir, we have fixed some value which is fixed, which will be not changed. That's why we use static, sir.
Okay, anyone else?
That's why JVM directly allocate there, and JVM easily find the main function.
Without creating the object.
Yes, sir.
Sir, without the intents, we can call it, so we use such static.
Yeah. So Salma, it is not like fixed. It is just you don't need to create the instance of this class. Do you understand? So we can call hello world.main directly.
Yes, sir.
One is static, so hello world.main we can call directly. Okay, so that's why we need to main static. Okay, what is out here? What is out? System.out. What
Sir,
is
for
out?
printing purpose, we use in. Sir, it is the syntax for the printing.
Sir, it is a part of print stream.
Okay, anyone else? It is not a part. It is an object of print string. A static object of print string inside the system class. That's why we didn't need to create the out object in here in the system class. We just call the out object because this one is a static object, right? We have create pre-stream objects. Out is pre-stream instance. Pre-stream is a class. Pre-stream instance is called out. Okay, it is not a part of pre-stream. It is an instance of pre-stream. That's why we are calling out.println. And because this one is static, so that's why we can call directly with the system class. You should study, okay? Why do you need to initiate? Why do you initiate the value of A? How do you initiate the value of A? How do you initiate?
Sir,
From
we can
outside.
assign the value firstly.
How? How you can assign the value? Like you will not change this code. You cannot change this code, okay? From outside, you want to assign a value to A. How can you assign a value to A? You cannot change this code. Create an instance of this object, of this class. Create an instance of this class like age, and then h.a equal the value. So that way, basically, we can assign the value in A, right? So out is like in the system class, we have a static print stream out equal to new print stream. So print stream out. So out is an instance of print stream class. Okay. Now we are going to today's lectures. When you do program in Java program is structure, right? So actually when you write a program in Java, that times the first thing you need to do, I want to show in here for that reasons in the J creator. The first thing you need to do is create your like new file that when you write a program, so how can you write? So what is the format for writing? So let's see, we are writing the test for C sections, okay, .java. So this is the test C section for Java. So this one. So when I'm going to write a program, so first things is to write document. First thing is to write a document. So the documentation should be comment, okay? The comment should be the first. The first thing is to write that what is the test, what is the purpose of this program, so that when you open the program, you can see that what is the contents in this program, right? So that's very important for you guys, okay? So that's why we'll write this program explain, this program explain, this program simply print a string in console. So just you can write in this way so that whenever anyone can see, so they can watch that what is the purpose of this program. So then you can keep this program or you can delete this program. So after maybe 1 year later, you may have such kind of things in front of you. So you can do that. Okay. So that's why documentation is very important. So you need to write down on the
I mean,
comment.
it's a comment part.
Yeah, this one is the comment part, the first part. And the second one we have package. Second one, you can write package. Let's say I'm writing package. Let's see, whatever the program I will do inside a folder. I will keep the classes inside a folder or inside a package. So when you do a project, so that times you need a lot of classes to handle. So that times we do package by package, like same taxes, similar kind of taxes we put into one folder. So that way basically we can do in our project as well. That's why we need to create a package. So like package, like let's see, I'm giving the package name. For your case, the package name will be, let's see, section C. This is my package. Okay, so whatever I will write, so all the classes will go and save in this folder. All the classes will be saved in this folder. So when you need to import some of the classes, you can call section C and you can import, no problem. Okay, so let's see, I'm now calling. Let's see, I'm calling now. Now next will be import. So let's see, I have a class which is so import. Like we need to import, let's see, java.util.scanner. So you want to a scanner class to be imported. So that's why you have written import java.util.scanner. So you want to add the scanner class with your program. So that times you need the import statement. So this is basically called import statement. So then you may have interface in your program, so you can use the interface in here. So like interface we can create. So when we learn interface, then interface will come in here. Then we have our class, like classes. So public class. So this is our class. So let's see, our class name will be the same as program name, because this program is a driver class, because it will contain the main function. So that's why this is a driver class, the same name with our file name. So this is the class we have, and inside the class we are writing our main program, public static void main. So we are passing string arguments as well, string array args, and then we have in the method. So class holds the methods. So class hold the methods. In the methods, basically we can do some statements like system.out.println. So we write some statements in here like print welcome, okay, something like that. So we can do those kind of statements inside the method. So we have class, inside the class we have method, inside the method we have some statements we can write. Okay, so this is the format of Java basically. This is optional. You may not use class, but you have to use the main method, public static void main. As we want to learn Java, like Java object-oriented features, we want to focus on mainly. So that's why we will focus on the class behaviors as well. So why not put the class? That's why we are always starting with the class. You may not put the class, just write down the functions. That's enough, okay, for doing some simple program. But for class-oriented, object-oriented program, we need to define class. So that's why we are defining classes from the beginning, okay? And we are doing our program. So you may have more than one class. Like let's see, you may have more than one class. Let's see, I have class A, which is another class I have, which may have another method also. Some methods can be in there. So like print message. Okay, let's see, print. Okay, so void print message. Let's see, message. So let's see, I'm taking a string s. I want to print that. Okay, so this one is like system dot out dot println. So this is my string. Let's say I want to print it here. So I want to pass the SS here. So that's it. So now rather than printing in this one, I can call this method. I can call this method. Can I call this method here? Print. Can I write print? Is it possible? Can I write print here? What do you think?
Yes, sir. Maybe.
Maybe. Why maybe? Is it possible to write welcome now in this way? Just call print. Will it be possible? No,
Yes,
it
sir,
is
but
not
we have
allowed.
to make object.
Yes, it is not allowed. So you have to create the object first. So the class, so you have to create the object first. So A1 equal to new A1, right? So you have to create the object first. And then you can, through these objects, you can call A1.print. So you can call in this way, okay? Then you can call. Otherwise, you cannot call the another class methods, right? So now when I will save my programs and when I'm trying to build this one, so you can see that the process has been completed and you can run. You can run here as well. So now, so welcome is printing. So printing by this method. So to call this class, we can call a1.print. Okay. Now let's see. So this is my, yes. Yeah, if you write this one is in a static, so void static void. Okay, static void. If this one is static, then you can call like this. You do not need this one. You can call a dot print. Okay, a dot print. It will be okay then. The same way we can do. So usually we don't want the global methods or global functions too much. So that's why static is less. But we can create non-static methods and non-static variables much in our in the program. Okay, you understand? Static method area, you have limited method area, so you want everything to be in the heap because of dynamic creations should be inside the heap. So that's why we have non-static variable or non-static method much more than the static. Okay, so that's way we can do because so this is the hierarchy we can follow in that way and we can run our program. So this is the strategy of writing strategies of our program. See here, we have document section, package section, import sections, then interface section. We didn't learn interface yet, so that's why I didn't include it, but I will include it later. You will see that the use of interface. Then we have class definition, and inside the class definition we have method definition. Okay, inside the method we are basically using some statements. Inside the method we are using some statement. An example of this one, like package. So package we are using like java.util. For the scan one, we are using java.util and the class name was scanner. And the util java.util is the package name, and we have method next integer method we are using. And inside the method we can use some statements like in main method we are using like in dot next main next integer. So and we are taking this one equal hour, so hour and semicolon is in there. Semicolon is the separator. So this one totally is basically called one statement. And then we have expressions also, hour into 60. So this is the expressions we have, hour into 60. So this is basically called expressions, and hour is in here. Hour is the identifier, which is basically token, which is basically a token. So several tokens, meaningful tokens with the operator, they create the expression. The expression will be evaluated, generate one result. So and we can use this expressions into a statement where we may have separate statements, meaningful statements by separated by semicolon. So that's basically called a statement. And we may have several statements inside a method, which is basically take the input from the users and provide the output as well. So as a parameter, they can input, you can input in there and he can process and then generate the output from there as well. So class which is in one unit, which contains several methods and several variables as well. So data variable, data members as well. And we have package. Inside the package, we have several classes we have. So when you declare a package, you see when we declare a package, section C, you can go to the lab one and you can find out inside the lab one, we have the lab one, and inside the lab one, you can find out that we have section C. Inside the section C, we have a dot class and test C dot class. Although test C dot class, test C dot class, test C dot Java is outside, but inside the test C.java, we have two classes. So that two class has been created inside section A. Now you can import anyone and you can call like anyone, like a class you can import to another program and you can call like that another program and you can use like that a.print because this one is in static. That way you can just do rather than writing system.out.println, you can write your own sentence like a.print and you can print. You understand? In that way, basically, you can do program. So you may not need this one. You may not need this one. You may not need this one. Let's say I'm deleting this one. So that times what you can do, you must need to import. Import. Let's say we have a folder in here. So just writing the folders, I'm not sure that we need to provide the full path or not. So let's see, I'm giving section C. Let's see, it will work or not. Let's see, import sections A. Class name is A. Let's see this one. And then we try to compile. Will it work? Okay, so this one has been finished. So let's see. Yeah. So let's see, run. You'll see the program is running. So a.print is taking from section.a. So section C has a class A. So that class we are inheriting. Okay. So we are importing and this class we call the method of this class. So that way basically you can also print, you can work in there. So that way basically the package has been used. Okay. The package is used in that way. Okay. So now the point is that, okay, so this way if you formulate the last and smallest individual unit is basically called, which has a meaning. So this one is basically called token. So their token can be represented in Java program by using keyword, identifier, literal, operator, separator. Those are token basically. Okay, keyword, identifier, literal, operator, separator, all are tokens in your program. So, but white space and comments are not tokens. So white space are token are not, white space are comments are not token. Okay. So don't consider those things. Without considering those things, the smallest individual meaningful unit is basically called token, which is basically can be used as a keyword, can be used as an identifier, literal, operator, or separator. Separator is basically the semicolon is the separator. Now the point is that so now the expressions is, now the second one can be the expressions, which is basically combining a variable. So combining a variable, that's mean a token. So combining a variable constant, it is also token, literal also token. So combination of tokens that can be variable, constants, and operator is arranged according to Java syntax to evaluate a value. Multiply will be in here, hour and 60. That's not be an equation, right? Hour into 60. So that is basically Java expression. So that's why we have written here arranged according to Java syntax to evaluate a value. That's basically called expression. So expression will give you always a result. One result will come from there. And then we have statements and executable combinations of tokens with a semicolon is basically called semicolon separator, basically called a statement. Okay, one statements. So a method may have many statements and one class may have many methods and one package may have many class. Okay, now you can represent like the path. So like com.wara.writer.david.wager. So this is your full package name. And then inside the package name, you have class, and inside the class, you have method. So any method from a class, if you want to access, so you have to put the package name, then dot class name. In that way, you can basically use. Also, the same thing also you can do here as well. Okay, so let me show you this one, that rather than importing, let's see, I'm not importing in here. So I have to write where from I get a. So if I will not import, so import means common, everyone knows that, okay, a is in there, where from a come. But here you can also write section c dot a. So that way also you can represent. I hope it will run. Yeah, so that way basically also you can represent, and you can run. So you don't need to import and write. Import will be common for everyone, so that part is common. So that's why it has been written in here. You can write, so that every time you don't need to write the full package names dot class name. Rather than you can write in the import, and then you can just write in the short form. But you can do without importing, you can just directly give all the times whenever you are calling print, you can just put the package name dot class dot method name. In that way also you can work with you can work with package and classes. Okay, now I'm going to the next slide, which is basically talking about keyword are a special a special token which has 50 characters and which are meaningful. Every token of keyword has been built before, and they have some special purpose. They have some special activities, predefined special activities. To do the activities, you have to use them. Otherwise, you should not use them. So, but there are in Java, we have 50 keywords. Those are the keywords. Okay. So like package, new, import, finally, default, continue, byte, constant, break. So those are all are basically using as a token, and those are basically keyword token. Those are built-in keyword tokens, and all are written in lowercase letters. All are written in lowercase letters and cannot use as a variable, a class or method name. So we cannot use them as a variable or identifiers of a variable name. So variable, class, or method name, we will not give this one. Okay, we cannot put them, we cannot use them as a variable, class, or method name. They have some special purpose, and use that way in the context of your program. So use the syntax to follow them. Okay, so now identifier is basically a name you are providing to an element. Okay, so the name is like class. The element can be the class, method, or variable. So you are defining the name by yourself, not like predefined name we are using. Predefined names are the keywords. Okay, so otherwise the variable, method, class name you can give, the programmer can design this token by themselves. So they can put the name for this token. So that's they can design by themselves. So that's basically called identifier, providing a name to the variable, method, or classes. The name is the identifier. Okay, so Java is case sensitive. You have to remember that Java is very case sensitive for defining the identifier. We have area, and area. These three are different. So you have to remember these things. Okay, they're different. And when you define in an identifiers, so please define the identifier so that it's can understandable. It's a meaningful identifier. Like if you need one or two words, use one or two words, no problem. Make it bigger, no problem, because your identifier must be in any length, no problem. So use 3 or 4 words together, but use these formulations by maintaining these formulations. Second word, first character of the second word, or third character, the third word, first characters, all will be capital. In that way you can write, or you can write number, then underscore of, then underscore students. I follow this one. I like to follow this one rather than this one. Okay, so I'm following this one I like most than this one, because underscore I don't like underscore. Okay, so that way basically you can write the variable names. Okay, so but when you define the identifier, you have to follow some rules. That the rule should be, you can use a sequence of characters, letters, digits, underscores, and $sign into the identifier. But $sign should not be in the font, and number digits should be at the font. Otherwise, underscores or letters you can put at the starting point. Okay, starting point of a letter. So underscore should not be, I mean, dollar sign should not be used, and underscore should not be used in your program, because underscore and dollar sign represent some of the compiler like variable defined with the dollar sign. And the first character will be dollar sign or underscore. So that's why please avoid to put underscore and dollar sign in front of your token, in front of your identifiers. And digit, you cannot use the identifier name, okay? Space or digit or special characters, you cannot put them. And in the identifier, you cannot use the special characters except the dollar sign, okay? So you can put special character, you can watch and see that special characters you can put in the underscore names or not, okay? You can try this one. Okay, so you cannot use the reserve word like static, class, public, those integer, those are already has some purposes. So those are the keyword. So you cannot use the keyword as a name of the identifier of a variable, right? So you cannot use true, false, or null, because we have Boolean types as well. So those are meaningful for some purposes. So that's why you should not use them into your identifier name. Okay, now we are coming to variable. So variable is basically a representative value, which represent a value that may be changed in the program, that can vary, changeable. So you can change the value during the execution of your program. So data from different types. So variable are different because it's hold the value. So value size can be different. So depending on the size, value size, basically the type will be declared. So type will be represented. So we need a name to the variable, as well as we have to declare the type of the variable as well. So when you declare a variable, we need to define the type and as well as the name of the variable. So identifier and data type we have to provide at the beginning of the variable declaration. So like integer count, double radius, integer I, j, k. So the type will be defined how much size of the value he can hold, the variable can hold. That's we can represent. When you declare the variable, you can also initialize the variable during the declaration as well, like integer equal to count 1. That we can do in one step, but you can also do the declaration and initialization into separate statements as well, like integer count equal 1. You can declare many types, similar type of variables into one statements, like integer I equal 1, j equal to 2, k equal to 3, and they will be separated by comma. So that's you can do. The variable scope will be inside the block where he has been declared. Inside the block, like block means like the first bracket and the second bracket. Inside the second bracket where he has been declared, the lifetime of the variable will be within this block. After this block or before this block, the variable will not be recognized. So if the block, inside the block, the variable will be declared, the scope of the variable is inside the block. So he cannot be recognized the outside of the block or upper of the blocks, outside of this block. Okay, that's very important. You have to understand. You have to remember these things. Now, can anyone tell me what is the problem in here? Is there any problem in here? Yes, Rosario? What is the problem here?
Sir, K is not initialized.
Yeah, K is not initialized. That's K is not initialized. That not K is not declared. You can declare.
Yes, sir.
We have to declare. Initialize. If you are not initializing, by default value it will take, which is basically 0. The default value, no problem. Like A has a default value. A has a default value because this one is an integer. He will take a default value 0. But K here is not declared, so that's why he will not get any default. He will not get any default value as well. So that is the problem. Is the K is not declared. Okay, that is the problem here. Okay, now I will go and ask some of the things in here, some of the things from here, which is basically I'm going to in section. Yeah. So section 2. Okay, so can anyone tell me what is the difference between 3.1, no, not 3. So you need to study chapter 2 very well, okay? Chapter 1 and chapter 2. Please go through chapter 1 and chapter 2. And if you want to do some exercise, please do those, because in exam, in the final exam, we have those, okay? We'll have those kind of programs. Two 2.31, I think. Yeah, so here I may have this one. Aye. Okay, so yeah, so this one. Yeah, you see, how do you write a statement, let the user enter a double value from the keyboard? So here I have taken, let's see, I have taken one value you have already programmed, right? Scanned. So how do you take the double value? You see here, we have used method for a scan, like next integer, for integer taking the integer value. Next double, right? Okay, fine. Now, during the next double, if I want to put the input, like I'm giving the input 5A, what will happen? Do you understand my point? Let's say I'm doing here, so I want to take an input. So let's see, I want to take an input. So I want to take like this. Let's see, I'm taking input. So I'm taking like this, scanner in equal to new scanner and system.in, right? Okay, system.in, and then I'm writing here in dot, writing here, let's see, I have a double value I'm taking. So double, let's see, radius equal in dot next double. But you want to read next double, I mean the double value, but let's see, I'm giving you that input is 5A. So input is 5A. What will happen? The input is, I'm giving 5A. What will happen? What do you think? What will happen here? You want to take input next double, but I'm giving 5A. What will happen here?
Same.
Hmm?
Same or show error.
Arrow. It will show an arrow. It will
Sure, sir.
give you an exception. Because this one is happening in the runtime. So one error will be occurred during the runtime, and the error will be giving you the exception. The exception is input mismatch exception. Input mismatch exception. So whatever the input they want, you are not giving this one. Input mismatch. You understand? So that kind of exception will be thrown during runtime. Okay, so you have to understand those. Okay, and then I have another question in here. I have another questions. Are there any performance difference between the following two import statements? Import java.util scanner and import java.util.star.
It means, sir, all the class will be include.
Yeah.
All the class will be include under Java util package.
Okay. So star means wildcard. Okay. So that's mean that any class inside this folder, java.util folder, inside util package. So util package, any class, they are imported. Any class you can call, they are imported. They already imported. But scanner, when you give, just only the scanner class will be imported. The others will not. Do you understand? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So, so that's we want to show here. Okay. Now I'm coming to here. This part is very important part. Please try to understand. I already discussed in the lab, and every time I'm discussing this one. Now I'm also discussing again one more time, and this is the last time. When we declare a class should have, like you have in the C++, you use a structure variable, right? Structure. Have you used a structure variable in the C? Stack. We use stack A,
Correct. Yes, sir.
stack A, and then we have declared the variables, right? So stack type variable.
Works like class, sir.
Yeah,
Looks like class.
but only the type is in there. Only the
Yes,
type.
sir.
You may have integer B, you may have integer double C. So there are many type of data you can combine together and formulate a stack type variable. Say a variable can hold many type of values, right? That's basically called stack. The difference between class and a stack is that stack is basically only data, but a class will have data as well as the class can have data as well as function as well, method as well. So not only data, the operation also you can do inside the class. So class will define data as well as the operation of the data. So in a class, we have three type of variable we can declare. So data means like variable. We have to store the value. So there are three type of variable we can declare. Okay. Obviously, constant type also we can declare, but there are three type of elements we have, except three type of data we have. Okay. Three different type of data we have. Like we declare the data inside the class member data set, we declare between the, like we have class, when you define the class, so that times we also have constructor, we may have method, okay? So before the method or constructor, we have a space here. This space we are declaring some variable like integer A and static integer B. We are declaring variables, okay? So these two variables, and they can share by everyone in this class. So the scope of this variable is within this class, okay? So they are not inside, they are outside of the method and they're inside the class, okay? So they have been declared in here before method declaration. So these variables are called class member variable. Class member variable, they are the members of the class. There are two type of member variable. One is called instance variable and another one is called class variable. Now, what is the difference between class variable and instance variable? Instance variable are non-static variable. Non-static variable are called instance variable. And static variable are called class variable. So static variable are called class variable and instance variable are non-static variable are called instance variable. Now, they also have more difference. When you define the class, let's see like that, variable example, variable, I'm making it short, okay? Variable example V equal to new variable examples. When you create the object, variable example, that time basically an object has been created. During the object allocations, we have to allocate the instance variable like my variable. If you take another object we create, so that times also this object has my variable as well. So instance variable will be allocated according to whenever the object will be allocated. Okay, whenever the object will be allocated, instance variable will be allocated with the object allocations. So basically object side will be depend on the instance variable size, instance variable, number of instance variable you are using. All the instance variables should be allocated as well. Should be there is space, the variable should be allocated inside the object. Now, if I change this class v2 dot my variable equal to 10, so this will be changed only this one. This one will be 10. And v1 dot my variable equal to 30. So only this one will change. So basically they are different from one to another one because they are two different instances into two different objects. So if one will change, the value of the other may not change. The value of the other is different from one to another one, maybe, but usually they will have different values. Maybe they will have same value, but actually this changing is happen because of you, if you are going to change, okay? So the instances are different. So the variable are different because they have two allocations. So two different variable now. This variable is in this objects, this variable is in this objects. So they are two different. So this one is referred to v2.my and this one will refer to v1.my. So there are two different separate variable. So whenever an instance will be created, if another instance will be created, v3, so then also my will be created. And that value you can change to v3.my equal to 0, that you can do. So they have three different variable basically, different instances. So they have separate things. They are not connected. But static variable, when the class will be in method area, that times class loader will just only allocate one class have one static variable. One class have static variable. There may be more than one variable, but they will be allocated only once in the method area, not in the heap, in the method area. Like let's see data equal 30. So this is static variable. So everybody will share this value. Every object will share this value. Okay, so this one is same for everyone. If anyone will change, everyone has the changes value. So that's I'm telling. So this one work like global for everyone. Every object, this one is global. Do you understand? Static variables are global. Non-static variable are local for the objects. Okay, that you have to understand. So this one is called instance variable is the local variable for the objects. I mean, not forget about local variable. Instance variable are inside the object, but class variable or the static variable are outside. They have been shared by everyone. And only one time allocation they will have. Every object doesn't have. How many instances you are creating doesn't matter. 1,000, 100, thousands, but this one is only once. But instance variable will create every time whenever the object will be created. So that's the difference between class variable and instance variable. There is also another variable we have, which is called local variable, which will be declared inside the method. Inside the method, they are going to declare like string argument. This one is local. Argument is a local variable. Integer a is a local variable. Also object reference variable you are calling. So those are basically reference variable. Those are also local variable. Local variable are stored inside the stack, inside the stack frame for this main function. Whenever the function call has been finished, that times all the variable will be deleted from the stack. The value you cannot find out. Another time when it will come, so that time the local variable again is stored in the stack. Whenever it will finish, any function will finish, the local variable of the function will be deallocated from the stack or popped from the stack. So that's why these three are different variables, different scope of the variables, okay? Different variables, different type of variables we have during the class. Thus we have mentioned here that class variable declared with static but outside a method, okay, or constructor. There would only be one copy of the each class variable per class, regardless of how many objects are creating from it. So how many objects you are creating doesn't matter. They are only one copy. One allocations we have in the method area, not in the heap, also in the method area. But instance variables are declared in a class and but outside a method. Okay, when a space is allocated for an objects in the heap, when you are allocating the space for the heap, for the objects, a slot for every instance variable is created. A slot for every instance variable will be created. Instance variable hold values that must be referenced by more than one method or constructor. So constructor and method, but for method and constructor inside the class, they can share these values. They can share these values. Do you understand? Because the method and constructor are also inside these class objects. So they can share this value. So they will share this value. They will not share these values. They will share their individual instance value. Okay, individual instance the value, that one they can share. Local variable are declared in methods, constructor and block. Local variable are created when the method, constructor or block is entered. If you enter, so that times the local variable will be created and allocated inside the stack. And the variable will be destroyed. Variable will be destroyed when basically the method call has been over. So method call has been finished. That time basically they will be destroyed. Okay, so that's basically we have exist the method, constructor or block. So that times basically the local variable will be removed from the stack. So I think that that's it for today's class. So far I have discussed about this one is the basic elementary class. So we are just going to start. So we have we talk about identifier, keyword, and Java programming structure, as well as the class variables and the difference between instance and class variables as well, and show some programs to see that how package is working, how you import from the package as well. Okay. So any questions? If you have any questions, let me know. Do you have any question? Anything you want to discuss or anything you want to discuss?
Sir, can we say class variables as static variable?
Yes, class variables are a static variable, compulsory must.
Okay, sir.
Can say.
Okay, sir.
But that should be declared within class. I mean, class that should not be declared inside the method. Inside the method also you can declare as a static variable, but those are local variables. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Static variable should be declared inside the class. I mean, class to function. ফাংশনের উপরে এবং ক্লাসের পরে, ডেফিনেশনের পরে পরেই কনস্ট্রাক্টরের উপরে আমরা যদি যে ভেরিয়েবলগুলো ডিক্লেয়ার করি সেগুলোর ভিতরে স্ট্যাটিক ভেরিয়েবল হবে। বোঝা গেছে কথাটা?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's it for today's class. So I hope you understand, and those are very important topics that we have discussed. So please complete chapter 1 and 2. We already completed chapter 1 and 2. So maybe next class we'll discuss about chapter 3. Let's see that we can go to chapter 3 or not. Okay. So thank you very much for attending and take care of yourself. Okay.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.